Before we start, please watch my previous video. The link will be in the description.
Well, congratulations to Maureen. We go from one beautiful contestant to another. We go from one 40 champion to another and another. I miss Margaret already, yet I admire seeing Maureen already, and I look forward to her for the potential wins. Ken Jennings' instruction was, our returning champion, Maureen O'Neil, might look a little surprised to be joining us on Jeopardy. On yesterday's show, she led throughout, but then got caught and was trailing going into Final Jeopardy, where, in response to a clue about Central American lakes, she guessed Lake Watts and Lake Mala. Maureen corrects Ken. It was Guada and Mala, but that's okay, they're both wrong. Sure, they're both wrong. Guada was funnier, though, because Ken would have been saying Watts, Mala, without the A. Ken continues, somehow you still won. Here you are. And this is good news for Miranda and Gundeep. Truly anything can happen on our show. I can tell this is going to be a fun one based on Maureen's Final Jeopardy from yesterday's game and the intro. I was right. After Maureen answers, what is Project Runway? Ken tells her, you may have found your category. No shame. She giggled. On the question The Hills on MTV, Maureen indicates she might know the answer and can't think of it. When everyone answers incorrectly, Ken comments, no harm, no foul, because everyone got it wrong. Yet you could see Gundeep went back down to 0, and Miranda was in the red because of the answer. So there is harm and there is foul, unfortunately. Gundeep got the first daily double. He made it a true daily double, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to 0 again. Gundeep was a filmmaker. That's something I sort of tried to attempt many times here on the channel. Maureen's anecdote was trivia, helping her once when someone called her at a hotel. Maureen sounded unsure of herself toward the end of Single Jeopardy. Miranda did the first round, winning $3,800. Gundeep was in third place at $2,600, and Maureen was in the lead at $4,200. Gundeep got the first daily double in Double Jeopardy, risked $2,000, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to $4,200. I feel bad for Maureen and Miranda for getting the answer wrong. Maureen answered, what is aggrandizement, and quickly corrected herself to aggrandizement. It's not that uncommon for Jeopardy contestants to correct themselves. I've seen it happen twice in Amy Schneider's last 10 days, one of which was only accepted because the answer was 2 words, and Maria Krasinski completed the answer slightly before Ken said no, slightly before he corrected her. Unfortunately, in most other circumstances, the answer comes to them after they already gave the first response. Miranda buzzed in, answered, what is aggrandize? Then Gundeep buzzed in and answered, what is aggrandizement? Putting emphasis on all the syllables. What is aggrandizement? Miranda got the second daily double in Double Jeopardy, risked $2,400, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to $4,200. This is one of the rare episodes when none of the daily doubles were answered correctly. Seeing how fun Maureen is, I would have hoped she found one of them. Nobody answered the last question in Double Jeopardy. Maureen was in the lead at $9,400. Gundeep was in second place, quite close at $8,600. Since he got 2 of the daily doubles, I wonder how much closer or more competitive the game would have been if he got one or both correct. And Miranda was in third place at $6,200. The Final Jeopardy category was Broadway musicals. The question was, characters Mark, Roger, and Maureen. Maureen in this musical were inspired by Marcello, Rodolfo, and Musetta in another work. Maureen, that's really funny. Maureen is the name of the returning champion, and her name appears in Final Jeopardy. That would have been a very Maureen Nights. The answer was Rent, and everyone was saying how easy this was in the comments. I've only seen one Broadway musical, and it wasn't Rent. I guess you could say this was a gimme. Miranda and Maureen answered correctly. We come to Margaret O'Neil in first place, who looks visibly excited when the category was announced. The name doesn't come up often. Must be a musical fan. Did she come up with Rent? Maureen bet everything, taking her to $18,800 and a 2-day total of $21,000. Ken Jennings' introduction to the following game was, yesterday was my favorite kind of Jeopardy show. A close game between all 3 contestants, but it was Maureen O'Neil who took a slight lead into Final Jeopardy, bet everything, doubled up, and locked up her second win. I like how Ken introduced by saying it was his favorite kind of Jeopardy show on one of my favorite kinds of Jeopardy shows, a ladies' night. Welcome to Shelly and Sallie. I'd like to see another well-thought game today. Can you help me out with that?
Can you help me out with that? Yes.
Shelly answers, yes. Then Ken ends by telling them, all right, I'm rooting for all of you. I am too. Gatsby says this woman is leaving you. Tom replies, nonsense, and Tom is correct. After Shelley answers, "Who's Daisy Buchanan?" Ken tells her, "You got it. Sorry for the Great Gatsby spoilers, but it's been a long time." I love Ken's humor, though it looked like he was saying it to Shelley, even though she answered, meaning she wouldn't have had it spoiled. This other name for a sideboard comes from the Italian, and "Would you like to take out the dishes from it, please?" The question ends in "please," which sounds odd when Maureen and Sallie were saying "please" after every selection. We'd say this title originated in a 1952. E.B. Whitetail went off to live in a farm, but Sallie laughs as she answers, "What is Charlotte?" Then selects as Ken tells her she has $1,400 to get to the commercial break.
Charlotte? The late Charlotte is correct. That takes you to $1,400. I'm going to stop you for just a second, Sallie. I'm excited too, but we need to take a commercial break.
I love how much fun she's having. What I especially love was when Sallie got a daily double right after the commercial break. Ken tells her, "Charlotte got you the daily double. You're $4,300 off the lead." She made it a true daily double. Looks and sounds visibly puzzled, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to 0. Even unsure, she sounds fun.
Scratch. I'm not sure.
Even when she sounds unsure, she sounds like she's having fun.
Jane.
The arm seized a loaf of bread and carried it off. And spoiler, he doesn't even get to eat it. What he does get is 19 years in prison. I feel bad that Maureen answered Les Miserables when it was actually the character that was the answer, which Sallie answered correctly. What is Jean Valjean? A combat pilot during the Korean War. About 20 years later, he became the second man on the moon. How did they not guess Buzz Aldrin? I thought everyone knew that Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins were on the Apollo 11 mission to be the first men on the moon. Otherwise, the round was quite difficult, and there was a point when nobody was answering any of the questions. Shelley ended the first round winning $3,200. Sallie was in third place at $200, and Maureen was in late at $3,800. Shelley got the first daily double in Double Jeopardy. She risked $4,000. Unfortunately, took too much time to answer and went down to $1,200. The Double Jeopardy round was also quite difficult, as there was another point when no one was answering any of the questions. Sallie got the second daily double in Double Jeopardy. She said, "Don't do this to me."
Don't do this to me.
Let's not risk it. $500.
$500.
Okay.
As Ken was reading the question, Sallie indicated she did know the answer, and I wish she had more confidence in
What is the
herself
art of
by
war?
risking more.
Correct, and you had 500.
Big money.
I would be disappointed that Maureen didn't get any of the daily doubles. However, Sallie was just as fun, and I'm glad she got 2 of them. Maureen ended Double Jeopardy winning $9,000, laughing because she got it right, then said, "Thank you, WB."
By a mere $200.
WB.
Shelley was in second place at $8,800, just 200 under Maureen's score, and Sallie was in third place at $1,500. No! The final Jeopardy category was Epitaphs. The question was, her epitaph from a 1925 poem by her ends. She knows that her dust is very pretty. Dust was another she wrote for herself. My first instinct was someone who died in the 1920s because the question asks about a 1925 poem. So I was going to guess Zora Neale Hurston. Then I noticed the years from when the poem was published, not when the poet died. No wonder it wasn't Zora. The answer was Dorothy Parker. Now, when Maureen's answer was revealed, she doubted herself since she questioned, "Not a poet?" Maureen was the only one to answer correctly. Ken answers, she was a poet, in fact, in addition to her accomplishments, and she once joked that her preferred epitaph for herself would be, "Excuse my dust." Before I get to the next game, I want to address 2 moments from the show. I was scrolling through the comments and I found my own comment, which I actually forgot that I posted. I referenced Scott Joplin on a Jeopardy project I'm currently working on, and Scott Joplin appeared as one of the questions. The project being the Christine Whelchel video. That's not the only coincidence from today's episode. Someone else commented, "This is insane. Today, 3/09/2022, one of my Facebook friends put up a list of the funniest insults by famous authors, and I noticed a conspicuous lack of Dorothy Parker. I did a report on her for a literature class back in college, and she was an absolute queen of one-liners. So anyway, I looked her up again today, read her epitaph quotation today, and just saw this link and thought, hey, I missed today's Final Jeopardy. Let's see what happened. That must have been awesome. Well, one of the other guests was Sylvia Plath, whom I had to read for college. Sylvia Plath's epitaph was, "Even amidst fierce flames, the golden lotus can be planted." Maureen bet everything for the second Final Jeopardy in a row, taking her final score to 18,000 and is now at a 3-day total of $39,000 even. Ken Jennings' instruction of the next game was rather odd. Our 3-day returning champion, Maureen O'Neil, continues a welcome recent trend on Jeopardy. For the past 11 shows, every single champion has been female. Will that continue today with a win for Maureen or Hannah, or will it be Carson's turn to start a streak of his own? For some reason, I thought he was going to mention every contestant won at least 3 games and wore glasses. I wouldn't have noticed what Ken mentioned. They're not just any females, though. They're all beautiful females. What's funnier is one of the categories in Double Jeopardy was guys who wear glasses. I wear glasses. I guess that's some good alliteration. I like lovely ladies and lenses also. Carson got the first daily double, risked 1,800, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to 2,000. Maureen mentioned a trivia career in the mini anecdotal interviews. Hannah ended the first round winning $1,400. Maureen was in second place at $2,800, and Carson was in the lead at $5,000. Maureen got the first daily double in Double Jeopardy, wagered $2,000, got it right, and went to $7,200. Maureen was in third place by the end of Double Jeopardy. Hannah was in second place at $13,400, and Carson was in lead at $14,200. The final Jeopardy category was famous trials. The question was, on her acquittal in 1893, a reporter cited nearby events 2 centuries earlier, saying the days of which trials are over. I am almost certain I know this answer in one form or another. Right now, the only person I know who cited the Salem witch trials in the 1800s was Nathaniel Hawthorne, except he died before 1893, so that can't be correct. The answer was Lizzie Borden. Oh, that's right, it was her. Maureen was the only one to answer correctly. After Ken pointed out Maureen was in third place going into Final Jeopardy, Maureen enthusiastically says, "Yes, I was," then laughed when she got the answer. That is correct. Fall River, Massachusetts, where Lizzie lived, not far from Salem. So you're going to add to that 9,600. For the third Final Jeopardy in a row, Maureen risked it all and got it right. I am so impressed. I seriously have no words. I've never seen this happen on Jeopardy before, let alone the first few days. I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen, remembering James Holzhauer or even Ken Jennings as contestants. Maureen is a Jeopardy goddess, both in appearance and skill. You're going to double it, Ken says. She answered correctly, and that took her to $19,200. But Maureen O'Neil, you survived a scare from 2 very strong challengers. She's now at a 4-day total of $58,200. I want to take this in for just a moment because I remember Margaret Shelton risked it all on the night she lost to Maureen O'Neil. That was the only Final Jeopardy round when Maureen didn't wager everything. Fans were critical of Maureen for risking everything, and if she didn't, we wouldn't have seen the goddess-like abilities Maureen has. So I uploaded that video of Dave Rapp losing after 3 games and found it crazy that there were almost 3-time back-to-back 3-day champions. Emma Salzberg, Lawrence Long, and Dave Rapp only won 3 games, and there was a contestant in between Lawrence and Dave's wins. This time, Christine Whelchel, Margaret Shelton, and Maureen O'Neil won 4 games back-to-back, and their female contestants who wear glasses. All that being said, I predicted Maureen would lose on her 5th appearance just because of this. I don't know why I base my predictions based on numerical pattern. I just realized as I'm typing this, my prediction skills seem to be as supernatural as Maureen's Final Jeopardy skills. So is my prediction correct? Let's find out. Maureen O'Neil returned for her 5th game on Jeopardy. Ken Jennings' instruction was, "This is exciting. For the second time this week, we have a champion going for her 5th straight win on Jeopardy. And in fact, it was our current champion, Maureen O'Neil, who on Monday kept Margaret Shelton from securing what would have been her 5th victory, and Maureen has gone to win every game since then. Can she lock out her 5th win today and secure a spot in the Fall Tournament of Champions? Or will it be Laura or Matt heading into the weekend a Jeopardy champion?" What Ken should have noted, after Maureen kept Margaret from securing what would have been her 5th victory, Margaret also kept Maureen from securing what would have been her 5th victory. I also pointed out that Christine, Margaret, and Maureen were all women who wore glasses and won 4 days. Laura's a woman and Matt's wearing glasses, so it's going to be tough to predict. Ken should have also noted that every single game for the past 3 episodes, Maureen risked it all on Final Jeopardy and got it right, doubling her score. This is another night when Maureen didn't get any of the daily doubles. That would have been fun to see. Laura got a daily double. She made it a true daily double. She paused as she was thinking, then answered, "Who's Rode Ann?" She was surprised she answered correctly because she asked, "Really?"
Who is Rodan?
That is the sculptor. That's correct. You're in second place.
I had to watch her guess again because I didn't catch on to how unsure of herself she sounded. She went to $1,200. Bosh comes from a word for nothing in this language. The 1834 novel that popularized the word opens at the foot of Mount Ararat. Mount Ararat, that was on one of Amy Schneider's wins, the final Jeopardy. Laura entered the first round winning $3,200. Maureen was in third place at $3,000, and Matt was in the lead at $3,400. This is a really close game. The closest game one could imagine, as Ken puts it. I can't imagine any closer. This is quite impressive, actually. Not as impressive as Maureen's Final Jeopardy skills. Close enough, though. So one of the categories in Double Jeopardy is music of the 2000s. So I thought that meant music between 2000 and 2009, until there were a few questions beyond that point, one of which even included last year, which I didn't know the answer to. Laura got the first daily double in Double Jeopardy. She risked 1,000, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to 3,000. A narrow mountain edge gets ab at the front to become this word of literary shortening. Maureen answers, what is an abridgment? Then answers, what is a bridge? Laura buzzed in, answered, what is a bridge? Ken comments, yeah, abridgment not being a word, I couldn't give it to you, Maureen. Laura says, thanks, Maureen. That's pretty harsh since it technically was right in the literary aspect. This unfortunately brought Maureen in the red at negative $200. This is the second time this happened. Adding ab to a three-letter type of poem gets you this type of housing. Maureen answered, what is adobe? Which is unfortunately wrong. Matt buzzed in, answered, what is abode? An anagram of adobe. Maureen's answers are so close, just not quite right. Picking at number 2, their Counting Stars spent 68 weeks on Billboard's Hot 100. How do they not know it was by One Republic? That was one of the most, if not the most popular song in the summer of 2013. I remember hearing it on the radio every single day. I still don't see why this is under music of the 2000s and not music of the 21st century, as one of the other categories was 17th century happenings. You know what? Instead of Counting Stars, a better example could have been, let's say, If It's Love by Train, for example. That was released in 2009. Matt got the second daily double, risked 2,500, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to 6,500. Maureen laughs because she answered wrong, and her guess sounds so close to what the answer was. The more I see and hear her answers, the more I wonder if this is the case for another contestant named Matt, who scored negative 6,400 on Amy Schneider's 5th win. Unfortunately, Maureen was still in the red by the end of Double Jeopardy. Such a shame, because besides her fun quirkiness, I want to see her goddess-like Final Jeopardy skills. I want to take this in for just a moment. First off, I had to point out the obvious. This was one of the most difficult Final Jeopardy rounds in this season. Listen to how many times either the contestants didn't answer, or they buzzed in and answered wrong. I really can't blame Maureen, especially when her answers were close. Second, Maureen won because of Margaret's perceived poor wagering skills. Margaret bet it all and went down to 0, and Maureen won in the only round she didn't bet at all. Now it's Maureen whose guessing skills will be seen as poor, as she didn't even make it a Final Jeopardy. We've come full circle. It sounds like a symbol, I guess. I'm sure Maureen would have known the Final Jeopardy answer and would have risked it all again if she got out of the red. This is actually the second time this season a returning champion was in the red. The first was Alyssa Hovey in the Professor's Tournament. I already miss Maureen. The comment I posted was, Maureen wasn't even in Final Jeopardy by default. I already miss seeing her. Looks like my prediction was right, seeing the pattern of the 4 wins from Christine Whelchel and Margaret Shelton. This would be the game Maureen loses. Only difference is she lost before Final Jeopardy. She was great. I might as well look at the Final Jeopardy category. The Final Jeopardy category was symbols. The question was, this U.S. politician asked for a multicolored pennant for a parade. Demand increased after his death in 1978. I guessed Lyndon Johnson because my brain read politician as president, so I was surprised when the answer was Harvey Milk, which Matt answered correctly. Matt won that game. I wasn't even concentrating that much on the question because I miss Maureen. So this concludes the 3 back-to-back 4-day champions. We'll see all of them in the Tournament of Champions, which Ken revealed the list as of March 14th. Let's take a quick look. Ken Jennings' instruction was, as we begin a new week here with the new champion, let's take a moment to look at the roster of the contestants in the running for our next Tournament of Champions as it stands today. As you can see, we've added 3 4-time winners from the last couple weeks to the list, bringing us to a current total of 14. Of course, we won't know what the final lineup will be until the fall, But look at those names. It's certainly shaping up to be an epic competition. I have a lot to say about the current roster, so I'll see you in the next video.
And as always, thank you for watching.